See, the question is like if he's not involved in the active play.
Yeah. See,
but I would say he's interfering. Like I just think it's bullshit because Areola's also got to watch Kane, right?
And we're live.
Are we live? Is that how we started?
That's how we're going to start it, Nathan. Just by us ranting about what we're talking about off air. But as you can tell, you are watching Full-Time live on the Fulhamish YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Twitter account. I'm Don Betts, and we're going to be dissecting, I think, just the mood that every Fulham fan is feeling right now, which is just anger, depression. As I think me and Iz said we were pissed off, and then Nathan was just like, "Yeah, I'm just depressed." But yeah, this is Full-Time live, and we're gonna. I mean, I don't really know where to start on that. I mean, I usually start with the team news, but obviously it wasn't too much. It was just Anguissa out for Mario Lemina. But if we start with sort of how the first half sort of started, were you impressed with sort of how Fulham approached the game?
First half wise, not particularly. I felt like we were actually really missing, obviously at this point in the season, we're going all gung-ho and sort of for the win and not having this five at the back, which usually against the likes of, I don't know, West Brom and teams closer to us, it seems to work better. We invite less pressure by having four and having that more attacking threat and a bit more dynamic. But with Spurs, I felt we really missed our sort of kind of crunchy midfield defensive players like Tete and Anguissa. And I was really worried. I felt we were carved out time and time again by Son, Dele, and and it looked really worrying first half, to be honest.
Nathan, do you think that's what Mourinho was trying to do? Was he was trying to get an early goal by pressuring our backline with that front four of Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, Heung-min Son, and Dele Alli? Do you think it was?
I mean, I think
that was his plan.
I think he was hoping to build off of what they did to Burnley over the weekend and just destroying Burnley. But to be fair, for the first 10 minutes, we came out and pressed them pretty hard. I mean, obviously Spurs settled down and put the pressure on us, and then things sort of fell apart. But we looked okay for the first few minutes, which we've said many times this year. You sort of had that. It reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if you remember during the United game, there were a couple of moments where it felt like some of Fulham's younger players sort of became a little bit overawed by the players that they're playing against. Like, Robinson's going up against Bale, Kane's out there. And, they sort of gave him a bit more space. They gave him a bit more respect. There were a few like kind of frantic motions on the ball, but, I think Mourinho's going after us. He's trying to put us on our back foot. Didn't really work for the first few minutes. And then we lost our nerve a bit, and Spurs pounced. And I guess we can come to the goal if you want to.
Yeah, there was sort of a period of Spurs dominance where the goal sort of came in.
Right.
You could sense it was coming. Or they were creating more and more chances, and I think that basically shows the difference really between a team who has underachieved this season, who should be challenging for top four, which I guess they can if the Liverpool Chelsea result goes their way, I guess, this evening. And when you have players with their quality, you can put away these chances, but they still have chances. Like there was the Harry Kane header from about a yard out, which Areola saved. Obviously, there was the Areola save from I think when Harry Kane might have been Harry Kane when he was offside. But if we get onto the goal, what are you looking at here? Are you saying what is our defence doing by being that open halfway into a first half, or are you looking at some people will point to I know Harry Kane doesn't touch the ball, but he is in an offside position. He could be influencing Tosin's position. Where are you? What's your opinion on the goal? Do you think it was back down to sort of our heads, Fulham heads, sort of going a bit by piling up that far forward and leaving us so overexposed at the back?
Yeah, I think defensively, I'm looking at us. It had been coming. Our back four were kind of struggling to get to grips with Kane's movement and kind of all of their attacking players really. And obviously Tosin he went all the way. And I think Nath, you were saying the players were a bit in awe of the Spurs players, and he sort of overcommitted and beyond the halfway line, and just left us short. And Dele Alli just moved with ease into the box, and then it was a brilliant finish from Ali, and those runs were just really causing us problems, and you could see it coming. And so I was definitely looking at how we were shirking our defensive duties instead of it being potentially offside, because either way, with the nature of the game, you never know, and defensively we were just not good enough.
What was your view on the goal, Nath? When
I just think, look, I kind of put it down to the first time we played Spurs, Reguilon had that beautiful cross that Kane puts away, and you sort of have to tip their hat. That's just kind of a nice goal. It bothered me a little bit, but I kind of like Spurs just score those types of goals, and when you have those many attacking players on the pitch, you're really going to have to defend perfectly to not concede something like that. So I was frustrated, but it sort of just felt like these sort of things happen. Like, you're playing a good side. They could create chances. I actually didn't think Spurs. I know that we went into half, and the announcers are sort of saying, "Oh, Spurs are just dominating us, and we're really on our heels." I didn't feel like we were that bad. I mean, we would make a mistake every once in a while. Spurs would kind of pounce, but I don't know. It just never felt like they were about to put the game away. It felt like I don't know. It was an odd one, and I sort of kind of felt like we had a chance if we just stuck around a bit longer.
Yeah, I think it was key in that first half. Obviously, we saw all the Tottenham pressure. It was key making sure that first half we didn't concede anymore, because I think we were just especially from the second half of the first half. We didn't. I wouldn't say we had any clear cut chances really in that first half. It was chances here and there. So we got to half time. And, I thought, right, Scott, hopefully we'll not absolutely dig into them here, but, give them a good team talk, and we come out second half a different
and
side.
He did.
And that's what we did. I mean, Izzy, from the minute whistle on the 45th minute to the whistle in the 94th, we were completely the dominant side.
Yeah, 100%. And usually when we play this well and get no goal, I feel like it's the story of our season, and all this kind of attacking flair like we saw in the second half, and nothing to show for it. It's just frustrating for Fulham fans. But in this situation, I just feel like we was robbed, the levels of injustice that went against us when we were so good, and we managed to equalise against a team with Gareth Bale, Son, Harry Kane, Dele Alli. That is an achievement, and this time it was an injustice that went against us. Scott needs to be given credit for, yes, he was put on the back foot in the first half, but he got it completely right second half. He knew the areas to exploit. He knew what we needed to do, and we did that, and we were completely let down by a ridiculous rule, to be honest.
Yeah, and Dom, I just our defensive line. I don't think it was our best night tonight. I mean, we had a few glitches and things, but I mean, how good was Anderson tonight? Like, I just thought he was absolutely exceptional. It's a bit of sort of small things, but from the entire match, he sort of just really controlled possession of the back, made some beautiful passes, opened things up, wasn't afraid to kind of go on those long runs, and. But unfortunately, Tosin and I think Anthony Robinson also had a kind of an off night. He came into it later in the game, but he really took a while to get his feet underneath him.
Yeah, I do think our back line, as you said, Anderson played well, and some of the passes he was pulling off in that second half were absolutely sensational. But yeah, I think especially in that first half, they did a bit of an off day. I think our fullbacks didn't really get into the game. I didn't feel, especially in that first half, I feel like with the likes of Kene Tete in the side, and maybe if you push Aina to the left-hand side, for me, I think that's where we look better. I just think, and Cavallero, I'd rather have Bobby Decker over Readout on that right-hand side, just because if we are playing a more attacking team, you are going to see him drop back a bit more and help more defensively there. But yeah, I mean, if we get onto the rule, firstly, obviously the rule stating that even if it's an accidental...
Wait, Dom, before we get to the rule, and we get past the first half, can we discuss like Mario Lemina shaking the one like literally 8 yards out? Maja puts it to him on the penalty spot, and somehow that is the story of our season. Convert. We forgot about that, but that was.
Did anyone Did anyone hear that voice note of that George
Yeah.
put in our group? What was it like? Why are we so fucking bad at shooting? Like, it's literally going to be my sleep paralysis. It's going to like haunt me for the rest of my life because it is the story of our season, and he has got to do better in that situation. When it's the difference between life and death, relegation or staying up, Lamina has got to do better. I'm at the start of the season, I go, yeah, that's a good chance. Well played, reset, whatever. No, not now.
Well, as I said, you know, even if you look at a team, for example, like everyone mentions Brighton, and you know how apparently they should be doing better than they should be based on, you know, the shots they've had and stuff, right? When it comes to 25 games into the season, you're not unlucky.
Yeah,
when quality.
When it comes to 25 games into the season, it comes to the finishing in your squad or whatever.
Same thing for RLC. Ruben.
Like the commentators, Ian Dart was talking about him so much. And I was like, he scored 1 goal all season, which was deflected anyway, so it shouldn't count on his record anyway against Everton. And it's like he gets from the 8 to the 10 position, he's fine. Then as soon as he gets anywhere near the 18-yard box, his legs just turn to jelly, which I guess you could argue for most of our attacking players. But yeah, I mean, again, if you want a summary of our season, just look at today's game. I think it's absolutely bang on. But for this offside goal, right, when it happened, you know, me and my dad were celebrating. Fine, it was great. And then as soon as I went to VAR, as soon as I saw literally a second of that VAR clip, I was like, this loud straight away. Yeah. And I understand it's not necessarily the refereeing and VAR which are the issue in this situation. But this rule doesn't come in without VAR being there. Yeah. Because
where does any margin of anything come into it though? Where does common sense come into the rule though?
Right, that's like his hands not. I understand that the rule is like if you get an, you know, even if you don't get an advantage off, or even if you don't mean to do it, if you're not, you know, if you score a goal, then but there has to be some margin of like his head is literally does not move. Like I'm just amazed. You look at it, he doesn't lift it up at all. There's nothing he can do.
There is a very vague part of not the rule that disallows a goal, but another part of the handball rule where if I think a decent amount of time has passed since handball. Right. So if that happens on the halfway line or in the centre circle, and then we go on to score, it's fine. If it's handball, it should be handball. It shouldn't be it's handball there in that situation because it leads to a goal. You know, people have been pointing to the example of Mason Greenwood and Callum Hudson-Odoi from the Chelsea United game on the weekend where, you know, Hudson-Odoi's arm or hand is literally out like that. It hits his hand and it doesn't get given. For me, just because it leads to a goal, that doesn't mean it should automatically be disallowed. That is a stupid rule because handball, it shouldn't matter what the situation is. It should either be handball or not handball. You know, when it comes to offside, you don't say, "Oh no, it's not offside because it didn't lead to a goal. It was 40 yards out from goal. It doesn't matter." That isn't how rules in football work.
Yeah, well, technically, I think it's like if it had been the last touch. So if it had hit Lamina's hand and it's 30 yards out, and then he dribbles down and scores, that probably gets called for handball because it's like it's all about like
rule, there is so much vagueness to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't specify if there's a certain amount of time. It's like there's one of the rules is definite and it's absolute, and that is what the rule is. And then there's parts of the rule which are so vague. And I mean, as soon as I heard Peter Walton's voice, I just wanted to headbutt my TV.
Fuck Peter Walton. I think someone called him a rat. I was like, I fully back that. Like, he gets wheeled out any opportunities to have a bit of fame and to have a bit of screen time, and he's there at the moment. I feel like all the refs are trying to like be the commentators about refs at the moment. They don't want to be the referee, and they're just doing like the VAR watch or whatever. But that's just like made it matters worse. Is there someone somewhere in the rule that just says like, you know, this is absolute heartbreak for Fulham. Like, can we just not? But I think what is Mario Lemina supposed to do in that situation?
No, there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do.
His arm couldn't be closer to his side.
And it's not like I get what frustrating is like if he'd been in the box and even if he hadn't played the ball, but his arm is out in a in an unnatural position and it goes down and keeps the deflection.
It's just even if his arm was slightly away from his body or slightly unnatural.
But like you look at it, it's just like completely frozen to his side. And it just kills me. Like I know it's technically the correct rule, but it's like it's not football. Like it just it's completely ridiculous.
I really hope IFAB just use some common sense this summer.
No,
and just
that would be ridiculous.
Reanalyze the rules, because what it reminded me of is, I don't even remember during the World Cup in 2018. If you look at the first couple of weeks,
they gave all those calls.
There was a handball penalty every single game, and then it changed halfway through the season. You know, we've seen stupid handballs. I remember I think Klopp said something after the Eric Dyer handball that was given for a penalty, I think it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, when or someone said when his arm was sort of flailing up in the air, and, you know, it's like, you're glad it's given, but, you know, it's not football.
And also, let's quickly flip it. Like, what do you call VAR for? So I'm just going to use one example, but just because he's really ticks me off, and I know, you know, I'm not English, but so you guys can't talk about St. Harry.
Oh, we didn't know.
But he's a diving little, you know,
rats.
Whatever rat. Yes, thank you. And I know that's part of his game, but it's just got like him. But the thing where he backs under defenders and just about breaks their neck, that's one thing. But tonight, you know, he goes down for the penalty. He's shouting for the penalty. They quickly see it's not a penalty by any stretch. Like, why is that not a yellow card for simulation?
Well, this is another VAR problem, though, because I feel like not just with Harry Kane, and he does do it a lot, that whenever a foul in the box is not given, or a foul is not given, and it's obvious they've play acted or dived to get the penalty, there doesn't seem to be much yellow carding for diving or simulation.
Particularly when he's obviously trying to sell it. Like, let's think about Lookman against, was it West Brom, where Lookman doesn't go down and, you know, he gets knocked down in the box. Lookman goes down like Harry Kane holding his knee. Maybe we get a penalty out of that, right? Kane goes down tonight, like just acting like has absolutely had his shins clattered. Obviously not a penalty. Very quickly decided that should be a yellow card. Like it's ridiculous.
Well, there's obviously, you know, there in football now, like there's a master to actually, you know, mastering the dive and perfecting that, and he's got it down to an absolute T.
Yeah.
He's an Oscar award-winning actor, and fair play to him. I mean, you get points, but it's gut wrenching. You look every time his reaction after he does it, it's the same. He falls to the floor, his quiffs everywhere, and he looks up to the ref like it's like Romeo and fucking Juliet. Like
it is.
But what can you do?
Basically, when it comes to Harry Kane, I can not like him, and then as soon as the international break comes in about 3 weeks' time,
you're like, yeah,
go on, Harry, son. But like,
always liked him.
Yeah, it's just no. Team Calvert-Lewin, start him at the Euro instead of Kane, little rat. But it was, it was.
I thought the officiating was pretty poor tonight. Like, there were some really suspect
for me,
calls.
There was a foul, apparently, I think it was Anguissa and Højbjerg. Anguissa had the ball. He had the ball. He didn't lose the ball, and yet the foul still was given against Emil Højbjerg. In the last minute, when Harry Kane won that free kick, the situation about 10 seconds earlier is the same 50-50 type challenge. Yeah, I said, I'm not, even if you take away the handball for the disallowed goal, the officiating today was still absolutely pointless. But if we move on, because otherwise we are just going to get in talking about Harry Kane, talking about VAR, talking about these stupid rules from IFAB for the next 20 minutes. If you look about where this sort of leaves us, I understand, you know, we put in a good performance today and we put in a decent performance against Palace, but
it's still one point out of two.
1 point from these two games, with Liverpool and City coming up, and if Liverpool get a result against Chelsea tonight, you know, it will be a tough game, albeit we know what their record at Anfield is like at the moment. But are you both still confident that, you know, although we only got a point from these two games, and, you know, City and Liverpool are going to be tough ones, that we've still totally got it in us? Do you think, you know, if I know Newcastle next game is against West Brom, I think, and West Brom have looked decent in the last few games.
They played okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think they got a last-minute goal ruled out against Everton tonight. Do you think it is, when it comes to analysing the situation about this, do you think what happens going into the March international break in about 2 or 3 weeks' time? Because obviously, you know, that we'll have that Leeds game just before on the Friday night. Do you think that is when we can analyse who's really going to be in the battle for this drop?
Yeah, I just think at this point in time, I like this game, like you were saying, I think so many games we have so many chances and we don't take them. But this one, as I was saying, was a complete injustice, and we played brilliantly. The fact the pundits were talking about Spurs' top 4 race was a joke. They should have been talking about how we're going to stay in the Premier League. We played so well.
Ian Park spent the entire game talking about Spurs anyway.
Oh God, yeah, I couldn't even be bothered with that. But you know, I think yes, potentially we're on course to be the best team in history to be relegated and not even come close to saving ourselves at this rate. But we are so good. I guess it will come. I think we always bring it. We seem to bring it to big teams. I guess it will come down. I think it will come down to us scrapping with the likes of Burnley and Newcastle closer to the end of the last Premier League weekend, I guess.
Can I just say, just looking at our comments right now, and sometimes we get opposition fans that come in, and usually it's like kind of mutual respect, but we've got a Leeds fan in here, and I'm just like thinking, like, how much of a loser does your life have to be that someone's whose live stream that you're not even like playing on a night, that you would have to get in and get involved in the comment to tell us that we're going down? Like, I'm sorry, a loco for Leeds. Like, just go back and like masturbate to Marco Bielsa. Like, we have our own like little problems and things to deal with. Sorry, I just wanted to give some love.
Someone rent free in Nathan Martin's head.
No, I just don't understand. Like, don't you have better things to do with your life?
No,
like,
no,
than trolling around.
No, it's the internet. No.
So
anything better to do.
No, but coming down to the end of it, like, look, we've got a really tough run of fixtures. Like, that's the reality. That being said, I actually think we play better against big teams. Like, we've played.
Well, if you look, as I said, you look who 2 of our 3 wins are coming against. Is it 3-1? No, 2 of our 4 wins. Yeah, 2 of our 4 wins are coming against. Away at Leicester and away at Everton. 2 teams who are pushing for top 4, and then you've got the home wins against West Brom and Sheffield United, which obviously do make sense. 2 teams currently below us in the table, but as you said, Nathan, it does show we can put it on teams, especially who are a lot better than us. But it's just games like tonight, games like the
Palace result, we should have had 3 points there, right? Like that, like getting a point tonight would have been a decent result. Like, it's, that is a expensive side that had just tore Burnley apart over the weekend. I feel like we could have won, but if we'd come away with a point, that'd been fine. But we should have had 3 against Palace. Like, it's just really frustrating. It's also frustrating because Maja, he hasn't been mind-blowing, but he's actually shows in each of those games just that little bit of quality that has come very close. Like, he should have had a goal tonight. There was a goal. Should have had a goal against Palace with a header on Sunday. And it's just a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I think that is sort of the mood, especially after these last 2 games, because we've done enough in these last 2 games to come out with at least 4 points. Potentially even 6. I know we had it was absolutely remarkable to see us actually get headers on target from a set piece multiple times.
Yeah, what was the header that just went straight at Lloris? Like, put some real power on it, and I was just like, yeah, just unfortunately we can't put it anywhere else but on frame.
Do you think another one of our issues today was it felt like, especially in the fullback areas and in the wide areas, we just didn't have any quality with those balls coming into the box. It seemed like if we were going to get a chance, it would have been like the Josh Maja goal, it would have been like the Lamina chance in the first half, where it would have to be created through the middle, sort of on the edge of the 18-yard box or just inside the boxes. Yeah,
because we don't shoot well. Like, what kills me is like our Ruben, we'll get these sort of like decent chances that you should be at least putting it on frame. Like, that's what I just don't get. Like, these guys shape up, fair play. Anthony Robinson, trying to put it on his wrong foot. Just a horrible shot. That's not really his job, but our midfielders will get it, and we just can't put anything low, can't put anything hard. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was kind of thinking about Maja and his involvement, and I was like, he's not really been in it. But then I was thinking, has the service been there? Has the delivery been there? No, to be honest. And I think it took someone like Anguissa, who can hold the ball so well and dribble within the middle, that really kind of injected a bit of actual precise attacking flair. Because otherwise, on Robinson, I think he's looked a bit of a different man since he got that red card. I think he's just not quite lunged in for those balls, and he's not running at players, and he's not attacking the defenders. And maybe today he showed a glimmer of hope, but yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
you sparked actual debate on the
I know. I
comment
kind of think I've drug our comments down into the
you
to the
and
gutter here.
You and Loco for Leeds need to
I
take it
know.
outside, mate.
I know. We've just remember, guys, peace and love. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to incite a riot down in there. So
Kumbaya, guys. Come on.
yeah, just kumbaya. It's all good. So I did enjoy. There were a couple of times where Robinson didn't play particularly well, but he did just skip past players and make them look absolutely silly a couple of those times when I don't know. I don't know about you, Dom, but I'm just sort of I am a bit tired of like we have these lovely little bits of play. I just want some goals. I just want I think that's all I really care about.
It was in November and December. It was great to see it because it was sort of a change from what we were used to at the start of the season where we were conceding goals left, right, and centre. But it gets. I understand we had those 7 points in a week and it was great. We pulled ourselves right back into it. Where at one point we were looking, if we didn't beat Everton that day, I think a lot of fans would have been not too confident on catching Newcastle. It's only been really the really optimistic fans who would probably back that. But when you pull yourselves back into it, I guess, and especially when you get 2 wins in a draw in a space of 7-8 days, you do really start getting optimistic again and thinking, yeah, we can do this. We're a good side. We can mix it with the best in this league. But as I said, obviously there's still plenty of games left this season, but I think it is all where we are going into.
We got to have a magic win.
Going into this March international break. I think it's going to be key to see where we are. I know, Newcastle have got more favourable fixtures, I guess you can say, going into there. But I guess we can. I'm not going to say Man City's a write-off, but they are putting every single person, every man and his dog, essentially, to the sword right now in Europe and in the league. But going away to Liverpool, what have they lost their last 3-4 games at Anfield? Obviously, they're playing like Chelsea there tonight. See what happens there. Hopefully, if any, I know it's not possible, but I wish both teams could lose that game. In all honesty, but then you go to Leeds, and with Leeds, you never know what you're going to get, and we
can beat Leeds 100%. We were shit when we played them last time. We almost beat them. Almost got a point.
but and then Newcastle, who knows what's going on over there? All we need is
this Matt Ritchie, Steve Bruce.
All we need is all we need is John Joe Shelby to
Yeah.
sleep with someone else's wife, so that that's the final sort of tinder in the locker room that we need is some player getting pissed off because someone doing a John Terry, so Newcastle is just a dumpster fire right now.
Well, I feel like if you're analysing both camps, I think Fulham are behind the manager. There's the team spirit and team ethos within the side is there. When Newcastle is the total opposite, it's just whether we can claw back. And as I said, all we need to realistically be within 3 points of Newcastle going into the whole day. Because I back us to have a better goal difference because we have. I think our defense is a lot better than theirs, and I think our goal difference is 5 or 6 better. Unless we get an absolute tonking from City or Liverpool, I don't really see that changing, and we don't concede too many goals. I think since Anderson has come into the side, so from October really, I think we probably conceded no more than an average of a goal a game, if that. So I think that, as I said, it is disappointing with results like Palace, but again, all you got to remember is as long as we're in 3 points of Newcastle going into the last game of the season, or 3 points of a team who we got better goal difference of, we 100% have to be confident we can get ourselves out of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of things in Newcastle's camp are going in our favour. Yes, we can look at things that have been an injustice to us, like this game, but we can also look at things that have been I was reading a really interesting. It was like a graph in the Times, and it was about the teams that have had the worst, most severe injuries or most crucial players injured. And we were actually one of the, least off because I think we kind of came through the worst of it early on. And Newcastle have just got ASM and is Almiron injured?
Yeah, I think it's Almiron, Wilson, and Alisson Maximin are all out until at least April now.
And if we can't take advantage of that, then so be it. We were meant to go down, but I do think a lot of things are going in our favour, and we don't write us off just yet. I mean, we all understand we're Fulham fans, and it's hard for our mental health to go through these cycles. But I think just try and be positive because things are going in our favour a bit.
I would say something that the last time I was on full-time, I think I'm much more okay with whatever happens, we just stick with Scotty because IMC, having Magic come in, you just see a little bit, I know we're still not scoring goals, but you do see us getting something is coming together. And I do think that exactly what you said, Dom, all the players are behind the manager. He's created a cohesive locker room. I'm tired of this sort of, streets motivational speeches. Like I would trade all of those and the B-sides for like 1 or 2 more goals. But, like I think we shouldn't, Scott's got something there, and I would at least back him for another year. So like whatever happens, whether we stay up or go down, we've got a good core, and that is something I think people shouldn't underestimate.
Yeah, and I think for the first time in a very long time, people seem to be sort of interested in a Fulham Premier League team. I don't remember the last time.
It's really weird.
Like, because even if you look, obviously there was the start of season 2 seasons ago, but apart from that, I wouldn't say Fulham fans were interested in this Fulham team. The last 18 months to a year of Martin Jol's reign, I wouldn't say people were interested. It's probably since we had that really good second half of the season or when we had that first season under Martin Jol, where people are really sort of behind the team and behind the manager. So it is good to see, but I think we'll wrap everything there because we are just going to end up it's just going to be a way to just complain about everything, not in just Fulham, it's in life, really. So
I know.
Hey, at least you're not a Leeds fan. At least you're not a Leeds fan. Just be grateful for that.
Just an open forum just to unleash everyone's feelings at the moment. But this has been Full-Time Live on the Fulhamish YouTube channel, Facebook page and Twitter account. I've been Dom Betts, and thankfully very much I've been joined by Izzy Barker.
Thanks, Dom. Thanks, guys.
And Nathan Martin.
Hello.
And we'll see you guys next time.